Win or go home, that's what this match is. Welcome to BBR Week 9, where if we lose, we do not make playoffs. We have to win. We're currently 4-3. 5-3 will make playoffs. 4-4 will not because of our differential. There's one other 4-4 coach, I believe, and it's Amo. So if we lose this, we'll be 9th seed. If we win this, we'll be 8th seed at best. So it's quite literally the biggest win or go home. We play Keegan, and I'm not super excited about it because we play Draco and I don't have a normal type, so it's not a lot of fun, but we do have 3 dark types that kind of mitigate that Pokemon. We don't have the worst matchup in the world, and I really tried hard on this build. Brought a lot of cool things, and hopefully we're able to pull this one out, man. I'm going to be going a little bit in depth of this team builder because this could be the last team builder of the BBR season. Regardless of if it is or not, we will probably do a retrospective at the end of the season, and I think we can do it, man. I think we can win. I think we can make playoffs. If we do, like I said, we're the 8th seed. I don't know who we play yet. Normally it would be Mount, but the top seeds get to choose their opponents. I'm going to try to call out Mount and be like, hey man, fight me, let's go. So this team, I normally do notes on my computer, but I did notes on my phone as well this time, as I've been like sitting down, feeding the baby or whatnot. I've been writing down a little bit of notes to prep. The first 4 months came pretty easy, but the last 2 months I bounced between a couple of different Pokemon, and I'm not going to reveal too much as far as what the other Pokemon was, because of the fact that we could potentially face Keegan in playoffs, very likely, actually. So yeah, I don't know what other pre-ramble I can have. It's a little bit stressful, but it's a game that we must win. So I'm going into it with my head held high. I know we've had some poor play recently, and I apologize for that, guys. I'm going to try my damnedest to win this game for you guys, for the Portland Nightshaders fans. We're going to try to win this game, man. I'm even wearing my Jimmy Butler jersey. You can't even see it. My Jimmy Butler jersey, because playoff Jimmy has to come out a little bit early this year. Keegan's team, like I said before, is going to be Dragapult as the top tier Pokemon, which is going to be very difficult for our team to deal with. Yes, we have 3 dark types, but we also don't have a normal type, so that Pokemon can U-turn pretty easily and be very annoying for our team to deal with. He also has Terra Volcarona, Terra Water, and Terra Fairy, which can be very annoying. It's really tough to call which Terra he's going to be in this matchup. I think both have application for sure. It kind of just depends on Terra Water is more of an offensive type in this matchup, I guess, and Terra Fairy also makes him weak to Glowking, but at the same time, Terra Water, if we're like Akaberry Decidueye, we could blow him up with that. We could push past that with potentially Zapdos. So it's very interesting to see what Terra type he will go on that Pokemon. Iron Hands is another must bring. I think Iron Hands does so well into this matchup. It's such an underrated Pokemon, man, and it matches up super well into us. 3 dark types and no resist to Iron Hands, man. The best we got is Brambleghast, and Brambleghast doesn't even check it, so we don't really have a check to this Pokemon. I'll talk more about a stat in a minute. Is the next Pokemon, one of the best Chi-Yu checks in the game. Unfortunately, it definitely is going to come in this matchup. Vaporeon, it could potentially come, but I don't really see it coming with our Zapdos plus Decidueye Hisui on top of potential Water Annihilape. Iron Jugs is pretty good, but I, again, am not 100% convinced it's going to come, just because of the fact that we have 3 dark types that match up very well into it. Uxie is a potential premier Rock Setter, which could be brought to alleviate pressure off of the Diancie, who probably is going to be Spikes instead of Rocks in this matchup. Low-Kick sucks in DOS, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't ever see Low-Kicks coming into this matchup. If it comes, the literal only reason would be to pressure Weavile, probably to pressure Weavile or Chi-Yu, but we could just simply run Protect, and maybe he wants to run First Impression to mitigate the fact that we can't be Scarf or Specs or whatever the case may be on Chi-Yu. That's possible, but I really don't see Low-Kicks ever coming. Same goes with Cryogonal. I actually see completely zero use for Cryogonal. Slowking-Galar walls it completely, Annihilape can wall it completely, Bronzong can wall it completely, even Chi-Yu can wall that Pokemon. So Cryogonal does not come in this matchup unless he is extremely scared of Hazard Stack. That would be the literal only reason why, but Cryogonal lets us switch into so many different threats for free, so I'd be completely fine with that if we saw that Pokemon. Palisand doesn't make a lot of sense. It lets Chi-Yu in, it lets Brambleghast in. Brambleghast can spin. It is our only spinner, and Palisand does not want to block our Brambleghast, who is a grass type spin, because we can just pressure it the following turn. And we also have 3 dark types, so Palisand doesn't make any sense. And then Tauros could potentially come because the speed tier is super nice into us, and it's kind of strong, so maybe it will, but I don't really see it coming. Annihilape can always switch in on it. And yes, it could be Mirror Herb for the Defiant with the Intimidate. That is definitely a possibility, but I don't really see Tauros coming. I think the 3 guaranteed Pokemon that are not coming are going to be Low-Kick, Cryo, and Palisand, specifically Palisand and Cryo. I think the other Pokemon could make an appearance. I think the 2 least likely ones that are capable of coming are going to be Low-Kicks and Tauros, and then I think it's Dragapult, Volcarona, Iron Hands, Diancie, Iron Jugs, and then one of Uxie or Vaporeon. Dragapult is a really tough mon to nail down in this matchup because Specs and Ban both make sense. I think some sort of pivot with U-turn makes the most sense. Dragon Dance also makes some form of sense, but we always have Grimmsnarl in the back to revenge it. So I think a pivot is probably the best in this game. So I'm built like he is going to be a pivot. I don't really see what else he could be. He is able to be adamant or modest depending on what he goes for. Physical and special makes sense. And he could be mixed too. He could be Dragon Dart, Shadow Ball. I think that's probably the best 2 moves, plus a U-turn and then last move. Last move could be something like Hydro Pump to hit the Chi-Yu, or even just Draco, because something like Draco into Dragon Darts probably kills like a Spadef Quack. Volcarona is a little tougher to nail down. It should pretty much consistently be Quiver Dance in this matchup. Quiver Dance does very, very well into me. Whether it's Terra Water or Terra Fairy is to be seen. Probably if he goes for more of an offensive set with the Quiver Dance, he's probably going to be Terra Water to be able to hit the Chi-Yu very well, and he's going to be something like Quiver, Morning Sun, Terra Blast, and Fire Move, because that set absolutely cooks me. There's not a whole lot that I can do other than potentially Thunder Wave it with Grimmsnarl, get a Light Screen up with Grimmsnarl, or try to wall it with a potential Glowking, or an Unaware Quagsire as well with Rindo Berry. And because of that, he might want to be Giga Drain over Morning Sun just so he has the proper coverage into my team. If he is not Quiver Dance, not only will I be extremely surprised, I do think it makes some sense if he's like a spec set, but I do think Chi-Yu is able to switch in on that very, very easily. As long as we know that he's specs, of course, and we see that he does not lock Terra Blast, specs could force a lot of pivots, and maybe he doesn't feel comfortable going for the Quiver Dance sweep. So maybe he is a spec set, or maybe he is a heavy duty boots Morning Sun bulky set. But I think the set that I am the most scared of with the team that I am bringing is going to be a Quiver Dance set, and probably Terra Water. Iron Hands is another Pokemon that's really tough to nail down. He might be AV for the Zapdos, for the Chi-Yu. He might simply be Swords Dance because it just does very well with potentially Booster Energy, potentially Leftovers. He could be Rust Talk with potentially Iron Defense if he doesn't respect the Brambleghast, or he could just be banned. There's so many different sets that Iron Hands has in this matchup that do very well. The ones that I expect the most are going to be Banded and Swords Dance. I think those two are the sets that do the best. I think AV is a close third. I really don't see Iron Defense Body Press coming, especially maybe he could be Resto Chesto with that. That's possible with Ice Punch for the Brambleghast, but Brambleghast can push past that with Strength Sap, so I don't think that makes a ton of sense. I think it's probably a Band, a Swords Dance, or an AV. The next mon that's guaranteed coming is going to be Diancie. Diancie is probably the best check to Chi-Yu in the game, or one of them. It does take 50% from Ruination, but it resists our dual stabs very, very well, and we don't get good coverage to hit it in any way, in any shape or form. It's Ruination. That's literally the best way we have to hit it. Probably going to be a Spike set. Could also pack Stealth Rocks on there if we do not see the Uxie. If it's Spikes and no Stealth Rock, it'll probably be dual stab plus Earth Power. Not a lot of variation for this Diancie set. Could be AV, I guess, if he's super scared of Chi-Yu in that capacity, but I think a Spadef Leftover set would get the job done. AV wouldn't help with the Ruination any more than a Spadef set would, obviously, so I think Spadef just take hits pretty well with the Leftovers is going to be probably what we're seeing on this Pokemon. Maybe even Boots if he's scared of potential Hazard Stack. Vaporeon, if it comes, it's probably going to be Spadef Wish. I don't know if Vaporeon's going to come. It could also be Fizdef for the Weavile. I didn't think too much into it because I really don't know if it comes, and if it does, I think we can deal with it pretty well with the combination of a couple of different Pokemon that we have. Iron Jugs is another Pokemon that I think is super likely to come. I think Booster Speed is possible. I think Specs is possible. I think Scarf is possible, and I think Boots is possible. This Pokemon could be the potential lead. And if it is, it's very scary, but we have a lot of different options as far as the lead goes, and Iron Jugs is one of the Pokemon that we want to see the least into our dedicated lead. That boy does way too much damage to us, and we don't have great checks to it on our team. I'd be shocked if he didn't bring it. Chi-Yu can kind of switch into it, Grimmsnarl can kind of switch into it, but it's another one of those situations where, okay, it's probably going to be a pivot in this game if it's brought, maybe if it's not Booster Speed, or Booster Special Attack even, because it has a very good speed tier into me, which it would probably be Booster Special Attack, not speed, because it doesn't need speed for anything that's not Scarf. Uxie is another Pokemon that I think is super likely to come, probably just something like Stealth Rock, U-Turn, Thunder Wave, Psychic, or something like that is probably very likely on Uxie. I don't know if there's a lot of room for variation on that Pokemon. There could also be maybe a weakness policy with Mystical Power, that new move to raise the special attack. It could be kind of difficult for us to push past, but I don't really see that happening when we have 3 dark types potentially on our team. Low-Kicks is a Pokemon, like I said, I don't really see it coming. If it does come, maybe Life Orb, maybe Band. Cryo's not coming, Palossand's not coming. Tauros could be scary with the Life Orb, or even with a Choice Band. It could be Sheer Force. I really don't know if Tauros comes, just because Annihilape, unless we're Terra'd, pretty much invalidates that Pokemon. We'll see. I'm not really sure what to expect if we do see the Tauros. As far as the team that we're bringing, Our first Pokemon, as per usual, the captain of the team, going to lead us to the playoffs. Hopefully this week is going to be Spanky. We're going to be a pretty familiar set. We brought a very similar thing against Drooby. We're Protect, Bulk Up, Rage Fist, and Drain Punch with the leftovers. We're going to be extremely Spadef with 232 HP, 4 attack, 212 special defense with a careful nature and 60 speed. This is going to be one of the pivotal points of our team. This can make or break our team. We have T-Spikes, and I will talk about that in a little bit, but T-Spikes plus Protect plus the leftovers recovery is going to be crucial. I like that a lot more than Rust Talk. Rust Talk has not been doing us well as of recent, and I debated Rust Talk, but I really don't like being asleep on a couple of different threats. Like if we let the Volcarona ever set up, or we let the Dragapult ever set up, when we're asleep we roll the wrong move, the game could be over, and we really do not want that. So I decided Protect Bulk Up is probably going to be more consistent. Drain Punch for the recovery on a bunch of different things. We can potentially bulk up past a non-Swords Dance Iron Hands. We can bulk up past even a Diancie with the Drain Punch recovery. Something like the Tauros we can bulk up past. Bulk Up is just really nice, specifically especially for the Iron Hands. Protect, again, leftovers the recovery and longevity. And then Rage Fist is just one of the best moves in the game. It's just broken. There's not very many ghost resists on our opponent's side of the field. It's kind of just Iron Jugs because Locust doesn't really count. Our EV investment, we can live 2 +1 flamethrowers from the Volcarona. We can outspeed a 12 speed Uxie, and then we put the remaining 4 into our attack investment. This might not be the best Annihilape set in the matchup, but I think this is the best Annihilape set on this current build that we are bringing to take advantage of the potential T-Spikes that we are going to try to set very early. Our next Pokemon is going to be a no-brainer in this matchup. It's going to be Rinky Dinky the Grimmsnarl. We're more of an unconventional set this week, and not super weird, but not very standard. We're Rest Talk, which is very important, I feel like, into the potential Dragapult to have that extra HP, especially when we are not leftovers. We're going Rocky Helmet to punish U-turns from not only Jugs, but also the Dragapult. Spirit Break is good neutral damage. We can also apply pressure on the Volcarona, make sure we lower its special attack every single time that we attack into it. And then Thunder Wave prevents the Volcarona from sweeping, prevents the Dragapult from sweeping, and is just generally a good move to spread on specifically the Pokemon that I think will be boots in this matchup, like the Volcarona and like potentially the Dragapult. It's mainly there for the Volcarona though. We have 240 HP, 36 attack with an adamant nature, 104 defense, and 128 special defense. I'll level with you guys, Grimmsnarl has not been doing it for us this season. However, this game, if there's any game that it needs to step up, it's this one right here, because Dragapult is a very obviously good Pokemon, one of the best, if not the best Pokemon in the format, and Grimmsnarl has to check it. That is his job this week. That is what you have to do, Grimmsnarl. You have to check this Pokemon, you have to rest on it, you have to stay healthy, and you have to, hopefully, you don't have to, I guess, but it would be nice if you get a Thunder Wave off on the Dragapult, on the Volcarona, whatever the case may be. We need to spread T-Waves and we need to take hits very well. With our investment, we can live 2 +1 Adamant Steel Wings from the Dragapult. We can live 2 Dragapult Flamethrowers after Rocks if he is Specs Modest, and then we went the rest into Attack Adamant. This Pokemon can hit pretty hard, man. Grimmsnarl is no joke, it has a pretty good attack stat, but that's not what we're concerned with. We are concerned with taking hits from that Dragapult. Get that in your brain, Rinky Dinky. That is all you need to do this week. Take hits from Dragapult. Next up, we're going to have the set that I am the most iffy on and wishy-washy on, and that I've switched up the most. It's going to be Slowking-Galar. We're going to be Mirror Herb to take advantage of a potential Quiver Dancing Volcarona. This is going to be our initial switch into the Volcarona, but at the same time, this is going to be our guaranteed lead. On almost anything, we can get a T-Spike up turn 1, which is very crucial, because if we get a T-Spike up turn 1, we are in business. We want to whittle things down. The whole point of this team is to get that T-Spike up. The only situation in which this backfires is if he is lead booster energy Iron Jugs, and we copy that, we get the special attack boost, the speed boost, whatever the case may be. We're basically forced to pivot out on that. If it's speed boost, we're not, but if it's special attack boost, we are, and I can only anticipate in this matchup that he is going to be special attack boost. And while it would be awesome to potentially take advantage of that special attack boost, there's a good chance that he OHKOs us from full, and if not, there's a good chance that he flinches us. So it's something that I don't want to risk, because Slowking is very difficult for our opponent to deal with, and also is very crucial to help deal with the Volcarona. Mirror Herb allows us to 2-hit KO the Volcarona pretty much any variant with Side Shock once we are +1. Obviously, we're Side Shock over Side Kick due to the nature of Quiver Dance. We're Slack Off for recovery T-Spikes, because the whole point of this team is to T-Spike turn 1, as long as we're able to We have Psyshock to destroy the Volcarona, obviously, and then Ice Beam is there for specifically Dragapult as well as Iron Jug. With 240 HP, 124 defense, 108 special attack, and 36 special defense with a calm nature. With this investment, we can live a Specs Modest Shadow Ball from the Dragapult, a booster max attack Earthquake from the Iron Hands, not a Bandit unfortunately, and then we put the rest in a special attack. And this Pokemon is crucial. I did EV efficiency this week, so we're all good. This Pokemon is crucial. It's so important in this matchup, unbelievably so. I cannot stress enough how important this Pokemon is in this matchup. It is the glue of the team. It is probably the most important Pokemon on the team besides Spanky, if not the most important Pokemon on the team. We have to get T-Spikes up early. It allows us to see if Pult is boots. It allows us to get residual chip on Iron Hands, which otherwise really hurts us. And it even allows us to punish a potential Specs Volcarona, which I don't think we'll see, but if we do see, it allows us to punish that. Our next Pokemon is going to be Zapdos. We're actually going to be a pressure Zapdos this week with the heavy duty boots because we do not want to accidentally static something just in case the Dragapult pivots or something. We'd rather that be toxic just in case, but we are also discharged to take advantage of boots Pokemon. Pressure is also really nice for something like a Morning Sun Volcarona, which could be very annoying. You now only have 4 of those, so we can take advantage of that. We are Roost, Light Screen, Discharge, and Brave Bird. I am the CEO of random screens when we don't have a 4th option. For a move, I could have went some form of momentum, but I really don't think that we need it this week. I think Light Screen is more invaluable than that potential U-turn, that potential Volt Switch. It would have been Volt Switch this week due to the Palossand being very bad here. We're Boots because I'm not confident we can reliably keep hazards away. We're Roost for recovery. Light Screen can obviously help with the Dragapult as well as specifically the Volcarona and even the Iron Jugulus. Discharge can potentially para and pressure a Terra Water Volcarona. And then we're Brave Bird, and Brave Bird can 2-hit KO any variant of Volcarona. I say any variant, as long as he's not physically defensive, which I really don't see in this matchup, we can 2-hit KO pretty much any variant. I really think you have to be max speed at minimum, so at most, you can be max HP or max Phys Def on the Volcarona, and we should be able to 2-hit KO that most of the time. We're 248 HP, 60 attack, 132 defense with a relaxed nature because we did not need speed in this matchup to outspeed anything except the Uxie. We're 8 special attack and 60 special defense. We can live 2 booster special attack Dark Pulses from the Iron Jugulus on a roll. We can live 2 Banded Leech Lives from the Low Kicks, just in case I did have something in the back just for that Low Kicks. We can 2-hit KO the Volcarona with that Brave Bird if he has no defense investment, and then we put the rest in the special attack. I think this is a really cool set that could take advantage of the fact that it's just fat, and it's just very difficult for our opponent to break in this matchup. We can get pairs on anything that want to be boots. We are, unfortunately, the check to Iron Hands, quote unquote, but we don't ever hit Iron Hands. That is the nature of Iron Hands. Iron Hands is very tough into this matchup, so we have to be very careful about that, and that would be the one reason why we would want momentum over Light Screen in this matchup. But again, I feel like Light Screen can be very valuable in this matchup. Next up, these are where the Pokemon got a little murky. There were a lot of options in these last 2 slots and a lot of roles that I need to fill. And the first role, we're ending this regular season how we started this regular season, with Dumb, the Brambleghast. We have Strength Sap, Spikes, Rapid Spin, and Shadow Sneak. Keegan's removal is Cryogonal, and I want to take advantage of that, so we're going to get Spikes up. The only problem with this Pokemon this week is the fact that it lets Volcarona in for free, but as long as we have Glow King with our Mirror Herb intact, we should be okay. If we lose our Mirror Herb, we have to play a lot more conservatively with this Brambleghast. Spikes getting up early are going to be crucial. Strength Sap allows us to beat a non-Swords Dance, a non-banded Iron Hands, which obviously it's very possible that he is either of those sets, but if he's AV, we can push past it. Rapid Spin to keep hazards away because Diancie's very prominent in this matchup. Gonna get a spike up anytime that we have our Chi-Yu, potentially Chi-Yu, that might be our last mon in. And then Shadow Sneak for potential priority on the Dragapult. We're Boots because we don't want to take Hazard Chip on our spinner. Obviously, I feel like there's not really another great item in this slot other than the potential of Akaberry, but if we were Akaberry, I wanted to be Power Whip to hit the Terra Water Volcarona, so we're not going to do that. We are pretty much just max physical bulk, and this is to live 2 Iron Hands Ice Punches at -1. We should pretty much always outspeed due to Brambleghast being way faster than it should be. And Brambleghast, while not the most important mon in this week, definitely has a role to fill. Getting spikes up, and once we find out what mons do and do not have boots, is going to be very important for how we play this game and how we pivot around this game. And then lastly, again, I debated on so many Pokemon, but I ultimately decided Chi-Yu. Even though this Pokemon sucks, I think it would have been kind of silly to not bring Chi-Yu in a do or die situation. So we're bringing Chi-Yu even into the Diancie, we're bringing Chi-Yu. We are an Assault Vest this week. There were a lot of different sets I ran through, and I even ran it by Star, my buddy Star, as a couple of different sets had some merit in this matchup. But I ultimately decided I was the most comfortable with AV in this matchup. It helps give us some leeway into the Iron Jugulus. It helps give us some leeway even into the potential Volcarona, into the Dragapult potential. So I liked AV a lot better in this matchup than most other sets, specifically on this build. I think there were other pretty good sets, but I think in this matchup, AV was the way to go, where Fire Blast and Flamethrower and Snarl, actually, instead of Dark Pulse, Snarl to lower the special attack of whatever wants to come in, specifically that Volcarona if we can win the speed tie, and then Ruination to punish the Diancie switch. I think the moveset was pretty set in stone with this Assault Vest. We could have been Dark Pulse over Snarl, we could have been Dark Pulse over Fire Blast, but I think Fire Stab was better than Dark Stab in this matchup. We're simply going to be max speed to speed tie the Volcarona, potentially get Snarls off on it, very, very crucial. We can leave 2 hits from the booster Iron Jugulus, and then we went the rest in the special attack. And that is going to be the team, guys. The team is very, very straightforward, very comfortable for me. We lead Slowking turn 1. We get the T-Spike up immediately. There's also another situation in which if Iron Hands is led and we don't see a booster, we might want to switch out. There is a capability of being OHKO'd by a banded one. And while I don't think that he would be banded Earthquake turn 1, it's definitely a possibility, man. Getting that T-Spike up initially is going to be crucial. It's going to be massive. It's the whole game plan. It's how Annihilape with potentially Protect and Rage Fist can win this game in the late game. It helps Grimmsnarl, which is rust off some important hits, obviously. On top of that, we also get poison damage on the opponent. It helps Zapdos outbulk a couple of different threats, and then obviously Brambleghast is going to be not as important, but having the spike support is going to be very nice into this Annihilape as well. And then Chi-Yu to potentially clean things up or take a special hit that we might not be able to take otherwise is going to be very important. The whole game plan, again, T-Spikes turn 1, man. That's what we have to do. We have to keep that in our mind. T-Spikes turn 1. Unless we are in a position to where we get pressured to get O-Code, then we'll unfortunately have to switch. But T-Spikes turn 1. That is the most important thing. And I almost went Focus Sash, to be honest with you guys, in this situation. But I liked Slowking as an in the pocket Volcarona check. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if it pays off. We'll see if I regret. And the whole BBR season is on the line tomorrow, guys. And I hope you guys will tune in. It's going to be a good one, man. Thank you guys for watching this team builder. I am so excited to hop into this game with Keegan. Thank you guys so much for watching. And for now, guys, this has been John Jr. signing off.